Hello everybody, things are really chaotic right now, but we're going to do some rapid fire reviews of every book that I read or attempted to read in January. For the first time ever, I have DNF'd 2 books. 2! I don't really DNF, but I'm trying to give myself more grace and allow myself to do that, even though I am a book reviewer and I don't feel like I can really review books without fully reading them, but the first book I tried this year was a DNF, and that was The Heir by Claudia Klein. Not for me. I don't think it's ready. This is a book that I think needs more developmental edits, a lot of repetition, and so I unfortunately did DNF this one at about 8% in, which is crazy for me, but once you say the same sentence twice in one paragraph, I kind of am like, nope, and out of there. All right, next up, thankfully, I listened to Wild Revens by Rebecca Ross. This is the prequel to Divine Rivals. Very barely touches on anything for Divine Rivals, so if you're worried about that, there's only a bit of an epilogue that is like, ooh, kind of a nod if you've read it, but otherwise it's not essential. I really like this. It did take me a little bit to get into this one, but I really enjoyed a lot of the characters, a lot of the growth. The mythology is amazing in this. Really feels like you're dealing with immortals and not just regular old Joes. You know, we do have a regular old Joe kind of character, I guess. He's a king, but you know, he's a dude. But really like this. Love the mythology. It is a chunky baby, but worth every word on the page here. All right, next up, I did read The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen by K.J. Charles. This was also super fun. We have an opposites attract kind of situation where these two kind of closeted gay men during the time period have been hooking up. They don't actually know each other's identities, and then one moves to the other's area and things happen, and oops, and but I love you, but oops. It's really fun. I do wish a little bit with this one that we had more from some of the side characters, because there were quite a few and I kind of forgot who was who and why they were important. Like, I thought the plot point with the sister was going to be a lot bigger than what it was, but it was only really prevalent in the beginning. So otherwise, I still love these two idiots in love. And next up, I listened to A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This also I did enjoy if you're looking for some good vampires and polyamorous rep. I didn't love every bit of this one, but it's just because there's a bit too much on the other side, on the smutty side of things. Not fully, really, but I like what this story was doing in kind of reclaiming oneself when being somewhat kept by someone else, if that makes sense. So I did like this a lot more than I liked like Evocation and stuff. I think this is the stronger book, so love that. I also listened to Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. Super duper like that. There was like only a couple things in it that I was not vibing with overall, just some little tiny irky things, but overall I did really like this one. I liked the journeys we went on with the characters, and I think it was beautiful. It's my first time reading anything Alice Hoffman. I've never even read Practical Magic yet, but I do think it does a really good setup for a lot of things. I was a little confused on some timelines and some stuff, but overall I think it was really great, and I'm excited to read the rest of the series. Then I delve into Bride. I have a full reading vlog on my channel if you want this, but there was a lot of moments with Bride. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, but there was quite a few of moments of just me doing that face. So yeah, go watch the full blog if you want the entertainment of that. And then we're still working on, if you don't know, I have a punishment ongoing right now where I have to read 17 vampire books, 5 of which must be the original Twilight series. I finally have read Eclipse. Oh my god, I hate Eclipse. I hate this book so much. And it's like, I haven't read these books in, over a decade. So I just don't really remember a lot. I remember a lot more from the movies and the book. But Bella sucks, guys. I hate her so much. I mean, I hate pretty much everyone in this cast. But there's all these little nuances that I didn't notice, the first time around, and things that were like omitted from the book. The weird relationship for her and Jacob, it just really pissed me off in the second book, especially in the first book. Like, Bella is a flirt. Like, she's not a good one, but she like actively does that and like does lead him on quite a bit. And it's just it's ridiculous. And obviously Edward is still ridiculous and obsessive, and I hate everything. So great. Eclipse, I think, is my least favorite of the, if I have to pick favorites. I don't know. I'm about to read Breaking Dawn. I'm finally going to be done with this freaking challenge. And then we'll do a full ranking of everybody, but damn do I hate Eclipse. Luckily, I got to go on to A Witch's Guide for Magical Innkeeping. I have 2 copies because I pre-ordered this one and then I was gifted this one. So I don't know what to do about that. I love this. I love Sangumandana's writing. I do think I like Secret Society of Irregular, which is a little bit more than this one. I don't know. There was something about it. Maybe it was just because I was just coming out of Eclipse that I wasn't in a good mood. But it took me a little bit to get into this one overall. A little bit to kind of vibe with the magic systems. I kind of called the big twist in this one. But the overall vibes of the story, the characters as well, are very fun. I did confuse a lot of the people in a lot. So that was a little bit of a struggle with me when you had such a big cast and they don't have as much page time as the rest. But definitely still hitting. Sangumandana still hitting. Next up, I then listened to The Jacid Crown by Sarah Hashem, which is the sequel and finale in the duology of Jacid Heir. And this was great. I think I liked this book more than I liked the sequel, or like the first one, because in the sequel, we have more POVs from some side characters that I really liked in the first book. I was also, it tore out my heart a little bit. Was not prepared for that. Very unhappy about that part. But I think Sarah Hashem does a really good job with her world building and the politics in this. And just a really, really good, like, convoluted world, but not too convoluted that you're just lost the whole time. So I think that was an excellent duology. I then went on to 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. And I wish I had liked this more. There was too much. It felt more like an anthology than a full narrative. And I'm more of a character person. This is definitely like telling the story from the side of the women in the Trojan War and aftermath of the Trojan War, but in like short stories around them. So you don't really revisit many characters. And I didn't like where we were left off with a lot of them. I liked Calliope. I refuse to call her Calliope because I listened to it and the author says Calliope in this, and I'm like, I don't think that's correct at all. And I don't care if I'm wrong, because I'm gonna keep saying Calliope, because that's it. It's Calliope. That's the instrument. It's called a Calliope. And also, I have a character in my book named Calliope, and I refuse to call her Calliope. That is the dumbest way to pronounce that, in my opinion. Anyway, I did like her character. She was the only one that really consistently reoccurred. But otherwise, I was really meh on 1,000 Ships. Then we went on to a middle grade and we read Unseen Magic by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This is a great book if you have kids and you have kids who are a neurodivergent or just really not feeling like they fit in with the rest of the world or the rest of their class or their peers and stuff. This is a great book for a character who is also suffering that and learns growth through the story, through the magic in this book. It's a little girl who accidentally makes a evil little doppelganger of herself made out of tea. It's great. So I definitely highly recommend this if you have kids who are going through that, or if you're an adult going through that, because it helped me too. And I'm not a child. I'm much older, unfortunately. Then we went on to A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I did like this. I'm mad that it's so short, because where it ended, I was like, what? It felt like we had just gotten to the midpoint. So I know there's another book for it, but this is where it's like, sometimes novellas do not have to be novellas, and you could just put the two together and make it one book, and it'd be better as one book rather than two little books that you spend $25 on. I didn't spend $25 on. I got it for free off of Pango. But still, $25 is the listed price for this little tiny baby book, and I think that is a crime. So just make the books big. Make them worth the price. I mean, it's worth a lot. This is a good book, and I really like the coziness of it. I didn't like the time jump. That got me a little confused, because I really wanted to see the monk character really, is it Dex? Dex? I forget the name of him. Anyway, but I felt like we had a time jump from him being a disaster and then being much more confident, and I wanted to see the journey of that. But I thought it was really good. It has a lot of good philosophy in it, which is what it's really, I think it's supposed to be doing. But yeah, I think if I read the sequel and I'm like, okay, if it picks up right where we leave off or something, I think this should have been one big book instead of two little novellas that milk out the price. That's my hot take. The other book that I DNF'd was The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I'm just not a Joe Abercrombie girl. There's nothing wrong with it. I was just bored. I was bored by it. I liked the prologue, and that was it. And then everything else just kind of was, meh. I have no investment in these. I got to 18% in this one at least, and I just did not care. I'm sorry. It's not for me. You high fantasy bros can keep it to yourselves. It's fine. I don't have to like it. Because you know what I did like? I surprisingly really like Thrown in the Dark by A.K. Caggiano. I went into this fully expecting this to be another, like, romantasy TikTok that's overly done with the smut and it just is, like, insta-love nonsense. No, none of that. None of that. This is so funny. It felt a little bit like Robin Hood Men in Tights plus Princess Bride and plus a couple like Black Cauldron and things. It felt like so many fun things from my youth that I really enjoy this. There's also no smut in it at all. There's thoughts to it, so I'm assuming the smut part maybe comes later in the series. But I love having a brooding character who's like, I'm evil and I don't like you because you're too good and I'm evil. What is wrong with you? I'm evil. But then secretly, it's like she's the light of his life kind of thing, and it's so funny. It just has really good side characters as well. I had a fun time. This was just so fun. Okay, if you want a fun time, there you go. But don't let the trope right now of TikTok books being bad scare you away from this one, because this is one of the good ones, I would say. Then I read The Overstory by Richard Powers. This is one of my 25 of 2025. And I'm so sorry to my dear friend who put it on my TBR. I didn't like this book either. It's too long, and it felt a bit preachy at times. I also just, I think it was too long. I got lost so many times in this book. I read the whole thing because it's a 25 of 2025. I can't DNF those. And I just was exhausted with this book overall. It deals with characters that I just didn't care about a single one of them. I thought they all sucked. And there's like these weird moments that I'm like, that wasn't a necessary sentence to come out of the author's mouth. You know, like that was really kind of gross to say about a woman's body kind of thing. Like I don't think you needed that line. That line did nothing for the rest of the story. So yeah, I don't think I'm a fan of that one. But what I am a fan of is Sear Straight by Drea Talley. This is an indie book. It's the first book in a series. The second book is coming out maybe this year, I think. I really like this. This has such a unique protagonist. I really like her. Her name is Karis, and she is a seer. And she's kind of like a little nobody who not accidentally, but like she gets invited to a big big party with the bourgeoisie and the prince and the heir of the Strait and stuff, and ends up like becoming one of his besties, who's like, they have a very casual relationship, and that leads a little bit something. It's very, 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 very slow burn. But Karis is also a non-monogamous main character, which is not something you see very often. And like the confidence she has with herself, the security she has with herself is very refreshing in a protagonist. We have a lot of really fun side characters. We have some great magic. I love the spirit bees. I love our spirit of judgment. Judex is so kind of fun. At one point, he's not very fun, but that you're supposed to not have fun at that point. But it's kind of a slow build to a lot. Like a lot happens in the last like 100, well, not even 100, like last 60-ish pages of this book. So it is kind of a slower build to things, but I think that's on purpose, and I think it's really well done. I think this is a hidden gem that more people need to check out. I think it's really, really good. So definitely check out this book. And then we finished January by listening to Never Whistle at Night, edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr., which is an indigenous dark fiction anthology. Originally, I thought this was going to be much more of like a paranormal horror, and there are a few that are paranormal horror, and then there are some that are just dark. like with me, I don't get along with anthologies very well. I will say there were some that are really good stories and some I didn't care about and some that were just meh and some I really didn't like. So it's hard to judge an anthology. I think there are a lot of great ones, but a lot of times what I found in this is the stories cut off right when I thought we were going to get some answer to something, and then I'm left going, what? I don't get it. And I don't know. Maybe that's just because it's not for me. I don't know. But there was a lot of points where I was like, oh, great. And then the story's over. And it left me going, come on, man. So I was a little bit upsetty spaghetti about that. So I'm giving this 3. Most anthologies I read get 3 just because it's such a mishmash of what I like and, you know, all those kinds of things. So in total, we read 17 books, but really we read 15 plus 2 DNFs. So there you go. That was my January wrap up. Let me know which ones you want to read and which ones you've also read and maybe agree or disagree on in the comments. Okay, bye.